Alright, good thing I had the important papers. Now make a square, cause I'm coming in head first.
He's back.
Welcome to DJ Isclay's Cafe.
Oh, yes.
Okay, alright, enough of that. Hold the phone. We're gonna talk about some conspiracy theories today. Today's conspiracy theory short talk here comes to you with the express permission of Bubba the Love Sponge and Chuck Norris, right? Because never leave a man's behind. Is that how it goes? Yeah, I think that's how it goes. Today we're talking about conspiracy theories. There are a lot of conspiracy theories out there and some weird documents to go along with them. In the CIA's online Freedom of Information Act archives, there are quite a few really strange documents there. We're just mainly talking about this Freedom of Information Act and the conspiracies. But when it comes to conspiracies, you know, you've got the FBI, you've got the CIA, you've got the NSA, you've got like 14 or 19 intelligence agencies here in the United States, not to mention MI5 and MI6. So, you know, you got a lot of that stuff going on. But in America here, we are the kings of conspiracy, whether it be Richard Nixon, Bobby Kennedy, John F. Kennedy, Teddy Kennedy, Papa Joe Kennedy. You know, there's always a conspiracy theory to be had somewhere, somehow. So when there's a will, there's a way. The CIA here has uploaded 12 million declassified pages onto the searchable online database that they keep over there on the webs at the CIA.gov. And this is the first time that these documents have been viewable anywhere other than on 4 computers in a single room in Washington, D.C. The CREST database, or CREST database as it's known, which stands for CIA Records Search Tool, contains an astounding number of documents on a variety of topics dating back to the 1940s. You know, just to name a few here, there is a Washington Post article titled, "Yes, Psychic Warfare is Part of the Game." In 1981, the article reports that the Pentagon had spent $6 million on psychic warfare, including attempts to crack Soviet codes with ESP and a proposed missile defense system over the North Pole that would suck enemy nukes into the past. These missiles would then kill dinosaurs or something, leaving a present-day America unscathed. You can, you know, dinosaurs, nukes into the past, ESP. I don't know what these things are. I mean, have you ever seen a dinosaur? I personally have not. What else do we have here today? There's a list of jokes about the Soviet Union meant for the Deputy Director of Central Intelligence. This document titled Soviet Jokes for DDCI, which stands for Director Deputy of the Central Intelligence, yes. And there's a list of jokes there. You'll have to go over and read it at the Extremely Weird News over at Huffington Post. But don't let it be said that the CIA doesn't have a sense of humor. The document, simply titled Soviet Jokes for the DDCI, lists several knee slappers about the USSR, and maybe they were funnier at the time, but not so much now. What else do we have? Are you a self-conscious human being or a programmed slave? Yeah, this interesting 1974 article and document was produced by the National Caucus of Labor Committees after it uncovered a vicious CIA scheme against it, a scheme which was to use victims of brainwashing as the enactors of assassination. It's a lot to take in, as it were. A few other things here. Experimental psychic probe on the planet of Jupiter. Jupiter is a planet that we have not yet reached. It's a 1973 document, an attempt of 2 men, Harold Sherman and Ingo Swann, two unfortunate names there, and they attempt to conduct a psychic probe of Jupiter in order to test their abilities and see what the gas giant was really like. Is the operant term. What it was like, yeah, we don't know what it was like, we don't know what it is like, and we never will. That's right, because Jupiter, it's unreachable. Yes, it is. 1969 testimony from a Russian engineer about a local psychic who could supposedly heal people with his hands. Yes, the document titled "Magician Walks into the Laboratory" is a translated document about a magician who can create windows into unknown worlds in Tbilisi, Georgia. That's the Georgia over there, not the American Georgia, not the Atlanta, Georgia. Hey, we got a guy that lives there. His name's Woos. Okay, anyways, it's an enthusiastic and utterly bewildering document, not to be believed, but only by people who are reading this and then checking the windows for the CIA and other intelligence agencies to bust down the door and bust you for knowing things you should not know. There is also a newspaper clipping accusing the CIA of suppressing talks about the UFOs. 1966 article from the Arizona Republic was headlined UFO hush blamed on CIA men, which is a pretty perfect headline there, in my humble opinion. The those men in black with the little flash thing to make you forget about the UFOs and the Area 51. There's a lot more documents over here. There's a report warning that the Soviets might be beating the U.S. in applied parapsychology studies, and a State Department memo warning that anti-American propaganda in the Soviet media was accusing the U.S. of stealing Nazi gold. Top of the list, the last thing that I read here, an internal CIA memo about a shortage of Coca-Cola bottles. You see, these conspiracy theories, they're all fun and games until somebody can't find their Coke bottles. You want to get some of that Coke bottle stuff, you got to get it. The old Coke had the actual Coke, and the new Coke doesn't have any of that. Okay, well, that's been our conspiracy theories with the CIAs and other intelligence agencies et al. Let's kick on back to the cafe, and we'll get some music going. Take care, folks.
and you will see yours and my final destiny. We will march everything into the sea, march everything into the sea, taking everything that belongs to me, taking everything that belongs to me. Taking it with knives, taking it with guns, taking it with knives, taking it with guns, taking it with knives, taking it the same way they did by taking other lives, by taking other lives.
Now that you know what's going on in virtual land, here's what's happening in the real world. And your news bits, partner, cafe mode. That's right, bringing you the news on this Sunday afternoon here. Listen, the news brought to you by Egg Slut and Love Juice. We'll crack them open for just about anyone, because why? That's how babies are made. And news now from the southern United States, where apparently batshit crazy knows no bounds. That's right. Julius Dunsmore, partially blinded by pet deer. He apparently had 7 pet deer, and now he is facing charges. Montgomery, Alabama wildlife officials say that this Alabama man has been charged with illegally keeping 7 deer as pets, including a buck that mauled and partially blinded him. Julius Densmore went into a fenced pen on his property on October 30th and was attacked by a 9-point buck. He said that Friday the deer lifted him up on its antlers and carried him nearly 30 feet before dropping him to the ground, where other deer tended to ensue in the attack. He was punctured by one antler in his face, which severed the optic nerve in his eyes. That's right, that's what's controlling the sight and stuff like that. And he also suffered some puncture wounds in the rib cage, his hips, and his legs. He says he adopted the deer after finding it along the roadside where his mother had died after being killed in a car accident. Dunsmore says he will never again keep deer as pets. His injuries will require several surgeries. The authorities will be charging him. And, yeah, I think he's learned his lesson there. Not only is his mother dead, but now he can't see out of one eye. Like I said, batshit crazy that knows no bounds. And now this story about the cheese. Actually, not about cheese itself, but about cheese brine, which is a byproduct of the making of cheese. Cheese brine coming to a highway near you. Winter is on the way, and it's time to break out the cheese brine. Say the folks in Wisconsin, the land of cheese. They are test driving a new material for de-icing the roads. This year, the liquid byproduct of cheese making, known as cheese brine. The method has been around for a few years, but this is the first time a major city such as Milwaukee is trying it out. The Journal Sentinel is reporting a few years back, a rural highway employee, Emil Norby, suggested to his employer that the Polk County Highway Commission they try using the cheese brine to help with ice on the roads. F&A Dairy offered its byproduct, and the first cheese brine for the road was born. I'm not entirely certain if this works or not. They're saying that it does. Apparently the cheese brine is costly to dispose of for your local cheese makers, and could be costing up to thousands of dollars to dispose of the brine. However, if it is dumped onto the roads, even to the tune of $40,000 is saved for the cheese-making city. Hey, I don't know, you know what I mean? I'm just reading it off here. I mean, I like cheese. The cheese brine, on the other hand, if it saves money and helps the environment, well, good on ya. It's a win-win. Well, now, mercy sakes alive. All you arachnophobes, time to unite. That's right, black widows found on grapes in supermarkets all across the United States. Here first, bananas, now grapes. No fruit is safe. Over here, a Pennsylvania woman has got the shock of her life on Thursday when she was washing some red grapes and felt her fingers brush up against something slimy. And yucky, that's right. Yvonne Whalen saw a long spider leg creep over the top of one of her pieces of fruit and immediately dropped the said fruit back into the sink, and her mouth was agape in fear. Yes, the spider experts have confirmed that Whalen is right, that this was a young black widow spider, and it was crawling all over the grapes. The appetite-ruining thing here finds that the following several similar incidents have happened. Deadly spiders found on grapes at supermarkets in Michigan, Missouri, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and several other states. Food Safety News reporting. I don't care for spiders. Actually, the cafe, we condemn spiders. I wouldn't call myself an arachnophobe. I would call myself a spider murderer. Well, sometimes I let them go just because I think they're kind of cute sometimes. Not really. Don't take my word for it. I am an arachnophobe. In any case, that's been the news. With your spiders and your grapes and your fruit, you must be very careful. I recommend gloves, and I recommend gloves highly. Welcome back to the Hey, whoa, welcome back to my cafe right now here, yo.
This production is solely owned by the Cafe/Normally Radio and is Clay Bonaventure et al. All rights reserved. No part of this publication may be reproduced, trampled upon, distributed, or transmitted in any form, or by any means, including photocopying, recording, eaten by sea turtles, poisoned by medical waste, slitted, slashed, or other electronic or mechanical methods, without the prior written permission of the producer. Use at your own risk. The owner, any and all subsidiaries, cohorts, or contractors reserve the right to cartilage if any material herein is infringed upon. Copyright 2018 by the Cafe/Normally Radio and is Clay Bonaventure.